field virtually the entire quarter, and it's a hot, muggy night. Ball is just over the 40 of Georgia.
He's got to take his toll in the fourth quarter.
Yes, sir. Shula down the middle with it. Bell throws it in. Perfect throw this time by Shula. And Bell broke his pattern a little sharper and got loose with that great speed of his, and it's a first down, Alabama, near the Georgia 23.
This is the first time that Alabama has thrown on first down. Kind of a gadget play, faking the Statue of Liberty, and Bell is going in behind the linebackers. Georgia linebackers dare not drop that deep. Richardson had decoyed Flack out of the play, and you can see in the middle 5, 6 Georgia players, but the opening, the passing lane behind the linebackers was there.
And from the 23, here goes Bobo inside the 20 to the 19. Make it 22. Closer mark there, so you'll have about a 3-yard carry on that play.
On that last successful completed pass, Shula showed a great deal of poise and a good strong arm. The coaches tell us that he is strong. His arm is more forceful this year. He threw the ball over the linebackers with enough zing on it that the safety man had no chance to make the play.
Weight program and threw it about 55,000 times this summer.
Stayed at the school and worked out every day trying to improve his passing.
First quarter is over. So second quarter of play, there is no score. It is second down and about 6, and a long 6 for Alabama as Bell goes wide to the right and Richardson to the left, and the Alabama offense has been relatively conservative to this point.
This is a blitzing situation for Georgia.
Ball is handed off, goes to Bobo, the Mike Bobo, number 24, and it's just straight ahead. Bang, bang, and he moves down to about the 15.
Here the stats reflect exactly what we saw. Georgia has not made a first down. They've had very poor field position. They have a young quarterback who has never played before, but now we're looking at Alabama with 5 first downs. At the time of possession, 10 minutes for Alabama, 4 for Georgia, but Georgia has kept them away from that goal line. That's the name of the game.
They need about 4 on third down.
Here comes the blitz again.
But that puts them in man coverage. Shula drops. He looks for Bell. He's wide open. Ray Perkins was very, very exuberant, just effusive in his praise of Albert Bell, and here's an example of why.
Bell runs a post corner. He's going to go to the goal post and then break out. He turns Flack, the senior cornerback, all the way around, and he's wide open for the touchdown, and Shula very wisely just threw it out there with tissue paper wrapped around it where he couldn't miss it.
And Van Tippen, who's never missed an extra point at Alabama, stands in there. 63 out of 63, and now make it 4. And the Crimson Tide of Alabama goes to a lead early in the second quarter of play with this touchdown pass from Mike Shula to Albert Bell, 7-0.
The role of Bell is to sell the inside fake. He really does a job because Flack turns inside. Now he's open for the touchdown. We'll be right back.
And now we'll kick it off. Red Lane will drop back as a kick returner along with Ron Jackson for Georgia. 14-18 to go in the first half. High kick. It's a little short for Jackson at the 4. Gets a crack in there and runs it out to about the 24.
Tony Flack, number 8, has started 3 years for Georgia. Really a great player. But you can see the effectiveness of Bell's fake. He's going to go for the goalpost, and when he does, Flack turns all the way around. That's how not to play man-for-man pass defense. And by the time that he gets back turned to receiver, Bell wide open, touchdown.
Total offense, Alabama 103 yards so far, and Georgia 10. And back goes Johnson. A little swing pass to the outside for Ron Jackson, and Jackson gets up to about the 25 for a 2-yard pickup on the play. Georgia. You can't keep giving a team like Alabama field position, though, Frank, and they had field position the whole quarter. And sooner or later, they're going to stick it in the end zone.
The reason Alabama had field position is Georgia offense could not make a first down. Had Georgia offense made a first down or two, the punt would eventually put Alabama out of good field position. Georgia has got to move the ball. They've got to open up and do something to get out of that rut that they're in.
Keith Henderson is in there, and Wayne Johnson roll out pass to the sideline, and it's pulled in by Fred Lane, number 4. the speedster from Decatur, Frank's hometown. He's good out to about the 32, but he is short of a first down. Next Monday night, ABC's NFL Monday Night Series will open with Frank Gifford, Joe Namath, and O.J. Simpson. And it's the old traditional in the NFL, the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be at 9 Eastern Time.
That'll be a great ball game. That's one of those big head-knocking games. Both teams hate each other.
Jackson gets the first down. Tron Jackson, among the many fighting for the starting job at tailback. And he is stopped just short of the 40, and the Bulldogs finally have a first down and finally have some decent field position.
What happens when you loosen up the defense with a pass and complete a couple, you then can finally run the football some, and that's what happened in the last play. Here we look at Jackson, James Jackson, who was the most valuable player in the Citrus Bowl game last year. Very talented young man, has been injured with a sprained ankle, but seems ready to play.
Tim Worley, another freshman running back, is in there at the tailback spot out of Billy Joe Patton's hometown of Lumberton, North Carolina. And he moves from the 40 out to the 42 and picks up 2 yards. He's another fellow that Vince Dooley thinks is going to be a fine player, 6'2" and 210. They've got very young people, but they've got very big people in those running back spots.
They've been able to recruit good running backs since Herschel left. The good running backs in this area didn't want to go to Georgia because they knew Herschel was going to be the tailback.
And timeout call by Georgia. Looked like they had the wrong people in the wrong place, and so rather than put that kind of pressure and offer the 12:38 to go in the first half, and now Georgia getting a little bit of operation efficiency from its offensive team. They send Fred Lane in motion. Johnson is still the quarterback. Jackson was warming up. Johnson throws it, goes deep with it. The pass is incomplete, intended for Herman Archie, a wide receiver, number 81. Herman Archie has good size. He's 6'5" and 200 pounds. On that play, defended by Rory Turner. And those the faithful of Alabama will certainly remember Rory Turner because he made the tackle on Brett Fullwood that kept Auburn out of the end zone in that final game a year ago in Legion Field.
Let's see how Georgia protects the passer and blocking on the great football player, Cornelius Bennett, number 97. They put both the tailback and the fullback to keep him out and give the quarterback Johnson time to throw.
Back goes Johnson again on 3rd down and 7. Shoots it, pass caught by Hockaday. And Jimmy Hockaday fighting, trying to get loose, and he can't do it. He cannot break the grip of Joe Godwin until help arrives, and down he goes. Randy Rockwell finally made the tackle.
Most of the yardage in passing today is made after the catch. Good football teams swarm the receiver, trying to hold the yardage gained after the catch to a minimum. Here's an example of the linebackers covering deep. Watch, they'll swarm right up on the receiver. 3 Alabama people there to make the play and prevent the first down.
At least Chris Carpenter now on 4th and 2 has some real estate behind him. He surely will be more comfortable on this punt. It is Richardson deep to receive it.
Goodness gracious, Keith.
What a beautiful high-hanging punt. Hits at the 5, bounces, and it's in the end zone.
No,
Thrown a
Georgia,
flag.
the Georgia man batted the ball back. That's a foul. There's no penalty, but it's a foul. The ball will come back to the 20-yard line.
It'll be first down Alabama at the 20. As we told you when we came on the air, it was 25 years ago at Legion Field in Birmingham that ABC Sports has now constituted, did its first college football game. Leonard Goldenson, Mr. Goldenson was the chairman of the board then, and Ed Sherrick was the president of ABC. Chet Simmons was part of the ABC Sports management team.
It comes back to the 20-yard line. Touchback, 1st and 10.
And Roone Arledge, who is the president of ABC Sports and News now. Roone was the producer of the game. Bill Bennington, an old friend, was the director. And the announcer was Kurt Gowdy and Paul Christman with Bob Neal on the sidelines. And Chuck Howard, who has been the producer of college football for so long, was then a production assistant.
A PA. I didn't know he ever was a PA.
Oh, yes. Done it all. Here's the pitch. It goes back to Terry Good. And Good running slanting, actually. And I haven't been able to determine because we have not seen him in a position of really getting fancy as to whether or not he's completely stable. He's a big fella. He's 6 feet tall, 195 pounds from Town Creek, Alabama. But in his freshman year, and certainly last year in the 2.5 quarters against Boston College, he was showing us the kind of quality play that may well make him an All-American.
He ran 86 yards for a touchdown against Tennessee as a freshman.
Yep. Fumbles the football. Georgia dives for it. Gould follows it. Let's see who's got it.
Oh, they're scrambling for it, Keith. They're still fighting for it. A tie. Both players have it. It goes to the offense. Oh, that would be a break for Georgia.
Taking a while to unwind them, isn't it?
Yes. Well, they give it back to Alabama.
Kerry followed the ball. He went right after. Henry Harris was in the melee. Big Henry, number 52, fighting for it.
Georgia front three are good at penetrating. The ball is on the ground right now. Let's see if we can detect who fell on it. Now, Gould has it right now. It's on the ground, but Gould fell right on it.
Big Henry came in there and laid his bullet trying to knock it out, but he couldn't do it. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Tide. They lead 7-0. 10:25 to go in the first half. Shula hands, Gould breaks, and gets a first down. Well, we see him run in real traffic with some authority, and he looks just fine.
It seems that the Alabama offensive plan is to run trap plays on the Georgia team that are penetrating, trying to give the big loss to the Alabama team. Let one man across the line and then blocking from the side. It's very effective against the Georgia defense.
But Frank, the Georgia offense has got to get out there and stay a while and let that defensive bunch rest some.
They're tired, you're right, and they don't have the depth that Georgia on this defensive team they've had in the past. They've had some key injuries, such as Boswell, the linebacker.
This is Gould again. Penalty flag goes down. Number 42, John Brantley, had a shot at him, but John couldn't get him. You're not going to one-leg him.
You know, Keith, defensive schemes and offensive strategies, they're like fads and fashions. About every 2 or 3 years they change in college. But Vince Dooley's defense is the same that he's been using since he came to Georgia in 1964, and they know how to play it.
And Alabama is nailed with a holding call right here. So while they mark this off, going back and still remembering over that 1960 game, listen to some of these names now. 8 of the players at Alabama have gone on to become were coaches or still are, including Bill Battle,
holding penalty by the offense.
Bud Moore, Charlie Pell, Jimmy Sharp, Richard Williamson, Bill Oliver, Mickey Andrews, Leon Fuller. Leon, of course, out at CSU, Colorado State now. And Pat Trammell, of course, Tim Davis, Gary Phillips. They became doctors. Butch Henry became a dentist. Leroy Jordan and Billy Neighbors. Billy, the father of Wes Neighbors, the current Alabama center. All-Americans on that team. And I left out the name of Tom Moore, who was very much involved with the ABC sports operation back in those days, and eventually became the president of the television network. And there are just so many people that you can remember from 25 years ago, and it's fun to watch and see how so many have gone on to success.
Was that the 61 Alabama team or the 1960 team?
1960.
Yes, that squad went on and played in the Bluebonnet Bowl, played Oklahoma in the or SMU in the Bluebonnet Bowl, and then we played them in the Sugar Bowl when they were national champions the next year.
Right now, Alabama, after being hit with a big penalty, looking at 2nd down and about 17. The football is resting at the 24, and here comes Chester Braggs, number 30. And Braggs has jumped on. Number 57, diving in there, Kenny Sims for Georgia. He's out of Greenville, South Carolina, and a 5th-year senior, helping on the play Bill Mitchell. Here are some of the players who lost their jobs, at least temporarily today. Jimmy Zorn cut by the Seattle Seahawks. Jack Thompson cut by Tampa Bay. Bob Avellini cut by the Jets. Pasarcik cut by Miami. Of course, Marino is back there now. Ron Springs is cut by Dallas. Goodness sakes, look at that.
He was a starter last year.
Yeah, Peoples, of course, cut by Detroit. There's Reese and a number of others. You look at them. I got to watch what's going on the field. It's 3rd down and 13. And now Shula, not liking what he is seeing on 3rd and long and the play that had been wigwagged in from the sideline. So Mike calls a time to visit with Ray Perkins in the offensive sidelines. He normally talks to the head man. Well, here's what Ray Perkins says about young Shula.
He's bigger and he's stronger. He's worked extremely hard. He's one of those guys that's stayed around campus there all summer and went to summer school. and worked extremely hard through the summer, and it's really paid off for him because he's throwing the ball much better. He's got a lot more velocity on the ball, and he's sharper mentally than he was last year at this time. He's a lot better quarterback on the field general. He's a lot better at that.
An unusual call on 3rd down and 13 as they run a draw with a fullback, Craig Turner. He gets field blocking on the left side. He caught Georgia flat-footed. He runs for a first down out of the 42.
Georgia had showed the blitz, then they backed out, and as Keith said, Turner just broke outside of where the play was designed to go and made the first down. Georgia was in a perfect defense to play it. They just didn't make the play.
Make it to 41. And Alabama with another first down. 7:50 to go, first half. The defense of Georgia stays on the field on a hot night. And Alabama keeps pounding at them. Braggs carries there, gets short yardage. And when Alabama is pounding on you, let me tell you why you get tired. Johnson, 270. Gilmer, 250. Neighbors, 250. Condon, 240. Rose, 275. And the people behind them aren't much smaller.
Well, Neighbors, the center, was second-team all-conference last year. He's the son of the All-American Billy Neighbors, and the Georgia coaches tell me if you watch him block, you'll say he's the equal of any in America.
Second down and 7. The ball squirts loose off the snap.
Official is taking time to unpile the players. Georgia thinks they've got the ball.
Does Bill Lewis teach the defensive unit to automatically point the other way when they're to fumble?
I think that's just natural instinct, Steve. You don't have to coach that. Here's some scores over the weekend, Steve.
Blattman shows considerable promise for the Panthers. Of course, Everett, you know a lot about him. And Bosco had a huge night in the opener in beating Boston College. Kansas and Hawaii and Kansas had graphic is self-explanatory. Big passing night, though, for Mike Norseth in South Carolina. Looks like it's going to be right there with the elite of the nation again. Ball is just short of the 45 now, and it's 3rd down and about 7 with 3 wide people in the game. And out of the shotgun, Shula. A little shovel pass to the fullback, Turner. Turner is good for the first down, but they're penalty flags. I think you might have a little motion.
Turner was a little bit eager to step up and come across for the shovel pass. Alabama ran this pass out of the regular formation last time. This time they were in the shotgun. The first time that we've seen them in the shotgun. The play will be brought back, and it will be 3rd down and about, what, 12, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
So now Shula has that long yardage again. Watch Turner on the middle of your screen, the bottom of your screen, I should say, number 44, steps up ahead of the snap.
Have illegal motion, 5-yard penalty.
Now, this is a typical Georgia situation to blitz, but Georgia had a touchdown pass thrown on it the last time they tried to blitz and cover man for man. It's going to be interesting to see if they've lost any confidence in what they have normally done best, rush the quarterback.
It's 3rd and close to 12.
Nope, there's a pending, Keith.
Braggs and Bobo in the backfield. Shula option. Goes to Braggs. And he does not get the first down, though he did get some good blocking to turn him upfield, but Tony Flack finally came in and made the tackle. I would imagine Tony's a little hot after being burned a while ago by Al Bell for the touchdown.
Guess what some of the other scores? Oregon, boy, your alma mater had a great game going there for a while, didn't you? 42-39.
They lost.
They lost, yep.
Too bad. That's, I tell you, though, Rich Brooks' Oregon Ducks are going to cause some trouble in the Pac-10. You wait and see.
Here's the short punt formation.
Georgia's not sure they're going to do it. Remember, Moore is a fine athlete.
He was a quarterback.
Yes, he was. He can do things for you.
They're just staying in punt formation, trying to draw them all sides.
It's when you've had a fellow who is doing your punting, who has been that kind of an athlete, a quarterback. He ran for 1,000 yards or more in high school. He wants to play tight end if he can't play anyplace else. He comes out of the hometown
game, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Of Ray Guy of the Raiders, Thompson, Georgia. So I'm sure that Ray's success has had some impact on him as well. But now he goes back in deep punt formation, and Georgia sends Keith Henderson deep this time to accept the punt. I don't think Henderson's deep enough.
He'll be high enough he can go back and catch it if he kicks like he did before.
The high snap.
Good thing he was 6'4".
Well, that's a hanger, isn't it?
That's a fair catch. Oh, that's a...
Takes an Alabama bounce. And it is down at the Georgia 17.
He went out of bounds on the 30.
Did he hit up there? But both teams been very, very conservative. Georgia's may change. James Jackson is in at quarterback now, hobbling around on a sore ankle in the Citrus Bowl. He was voted the MVP. Lars Tate and David McCluskey behind him. Jackson, good speed, good arm, goes to the sideline and misses the intended receiver. It was Cassius Osborne, a sophomore from Statesboro. Jackson is not the biggest fella in the quarterback competition at Georgia, 5'11", 175, but he has great mobility, and he has a tremendous arm.
Georgia will change their offense with a running quarterback. Jackson is an excellent runner. He averaged over 6 yards a try rushing last year in the Georgia Tech and the Citrus Bowl, 2 games that he played.
2nd down and 10 from the 30. Options it, pitches it back to Tate. Lars makes a good play to get the ball, breaks it upfield, and picks up a 1st down for the Bulldogs out around the 42 before Rory Turner makes the tackle.
Alabama is complaining a little bit about a clip. It looked like the Georgia men at the top of your screen. Let's see if we can see the clip that Alabama is complaining about. Coming right there, right at the top of this wide receiver. Seems to clip the cornerback and give the ball carrier a chance to break into the secondary. That's only Georgia's 2nd 1st down of the ball game.
And it's at their own 42. Stanley Blaylock is in the lineup now. Jackson pitches back to Tate. They reverse the ball. Here comes Blaylock around. Great speed, the fastest man. Fumbles the football, but Georgia covers it. Jackson, following the play, falls on the ball. So there is a loss on the play and almost loss of the ball as Randy Rockwell, the outside linebacker on the left side, really stuck one on Stanley Blaylock.
Alabama is a fundamental playing defensive team. I don't think they're too subject to the reverse. And you see Bennett, number 57, knock the ball right out of Blaylock. Oh, it was Rockwell, number 57.
Rockwell.
Yes, 57 Rockwell, the 189-pound defensive end.
From about the 32, Jackson gets good protection, goes down the field with it. Hockaday, 1st down inside the Alabama 25. I told you Jackson had a gun.
The Georgia coaches say that Jackson has the strongest arm. Here's a good illustration of what it takes to throw the ball deep down the middle, hit the receiver on the target before the 2 safety men can roll back into the middle and make the play. Excellent execution on the part of the Georgia team.
Jimmy Hockaday, the flanker, gives them a 1st down at the Alabama 24, far and away. Their greatest penetration. And the ball goes to the ground as Tate dives for it, and penalty flags are thrown in the hump. So Tate never really had a handle, and Lars was just diving after it. And the flags. Holding, Georgia.
Well, let's look at the pass completion again and see the action of the quarterback, Jackson, just a sophomore. Played only a little bit at the tail end of the season. Look at the arm. Without much effort, he just rifles the ball down, splits the safety man, 21 and Richardson and 37 Turner. Hockaday jumps and pulls it in, gives Georgia a chance.
But the holding call backs him up outside the 34. And Quan Jackson goes in at tailback now behind McCluskey.
He's the best pass receiver, the tailback.
They need 20 yards for the 1st down. The ball is handed to the up man, and it is McCluskey down to near the 20.
Boy, Keith, that's the advantage of having a fullback who does something besides block and run short yardage. McCluskey was a tailback last year. Had a 7-yard average, although he didn't play very much. You can see he has the running ability. He sees the cut, the opening, and he knifes back and makes the big gain.
All inside the 21. We're at 2nd down and 7 now. They've got 13 of the 20 on that carry. And Jackson rolls it. And he keeps it. And he's just about back to the line of scrimmage. He wanted to let it go for Herman Archie. But then he realized that Archie was going to draw company, lots of it, Freddie Robinson in particular.
Here's the breakdown of the offense. Georgia's catching up a little bit on Alabama. Keith, Georgia has to think differently on this part of the field than they have in the last 3 years. Kevin Butler was one of the great field goal kickers of all time. Georgia has a freshman this year who's never kicked before. They're going to concentrate and try to score, not try to go for the field goal if they can.
3rd and 8 now. Jackson got a problem, but runs away from part of it and gets back to the line of scrimmage. He almost popped out of there, but Soule and Davis were the two people who had penetrated, and then Bennett came up and closed the escape route, and now they're looking
for a field goal.
Field goal.
Chumley is a freshman redshirt, straight-on kicker, the first Georgia has had kicking from front of the ball since 1972.
He follows, steps into some big shoes. Kevin Butler, of course, kicked for 4 years here. Chris Carpenter, the punter, will hold it. This will be a 37-yard field goal try. Everything good. Kick is up. And the kick is good. And there's a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Keith, if it's roughing the holder, which it might be, it could be 15 yards and a first down. If it's just running into the holder, it's 5 yards and it's not a first down, and Georgia's got a tough decision.
Well, Richardson came in and got involved in that melee, Alabama's Todd Richardson. Let's see what they decide.
Question of whether it's running into the kicker or holder or whether it's roughing. Well, it looks like it.
I think they're going to eat the flag.
Well, they talk. Refuse it. Never take points off the scoreboard.
Right.
I agree with that decision.
They could have accepted it, but in doing so would have taken the 3 parts off of it. So 7-3 now as the Bulldogs get on the board.
Roger, you've procrastinated long enough. Now's the time to insulate. It'll mean a warmer house this winter. Potential.
7-3 ball game. Alabama 1:16 to go. In case you're wondering why they refused the penalty, it's a 5-yard penalty running into the kicker. They would not have had the first down. And they'd still been looking at 4th down and considerable, so why take the 3 points off the board? They didn't. And Crumley kicks off now. It is Chester Braggs, the man in the middle, going back into his end zone. That's a good kick by Crumley. Wow. Steve getting all wound up here. He knocks his first collegiate field goal through and now just hammers it deep in the end zone. Here's the penalty call. You'll see the Alabama player, Todd Richardson, run into Crumley, the kicker.
When the kicker has his foot in the air, he has to have time to regain his balance. Even though it looked to me like that Chumley's foot was getting close to the ground, he had not, in the eyes of the official, had time to regain his balance. That's a safety protection rule to protect those kickers who are vulnerable when they're in that position.
Now the Tide with 1:16 left in the first half go to work. Shula turns and gives the ball to Turner. And Craig Turner with Kerry Good in the backfield with him. Punches in for a couple of yards. So it looks like they're going to remain conservative to the clubhouse.
Both teams have 2 timeouts left. I don't believe either will exercise. Both teams wanting to go into the halftime with a present score of 7-3. Not take any chances on this part of the field. Georgia defense love to have teams take chances. As Vince Dooley, 6 Southeastern Conference championships, 7 conference coaches of the year, and 1 national championship.
2nd down and 8 for Alabama. Same play. Turner just running straight ahead, covering the ball with both arms out to about the 25, and it'll be 3rd down and 5, and now they're inside a half minute to go in what has been a relatively conservative offensive performance by Alabama, but Georgia putting James Jackson into the lineup, liven things up. We've got a timeout. Let's spend a moment. Getting bigger all the time. 29 seconds now to go, and it's 3rd down and 5. And I guess Georgia figures, well, maybe we ought to take one more crack with it.
I think they will, Chief. They'll now call timeout after this play and force the punt and try to block it. Try to block the punt if they can stop them and force the punt on this play.
Good with the ball. And Georgia buries him now. Do they call time again?
Yeah.
Yep. They've got 23 seconds. And you know there will be 10 red shirts on the line this time. So the timeout call. Let's get an answer from Coach Vince Dooley about his decision not to run for the U.S. Senate. Those comments yesterday from Coach Vince Dooley. Here's something, too, Frank, to consider. Chris Moore is 6'4", and he releases the ball quickly. In other words, he kicks it high from a very high position.
Hard to block, Keith.
Hard to block.
Plus the fact he's a step and a half kicker. If we'll watch him, he steps with his right foot, then his left foot, and kicks it.
Gets it away, and there's nobody deep for Georgia. They had one man up short. It takes an Alabama roll, and so it'll be a big one for Moore as Alabama downs the ball just inside the Georgia 18. A 56-yard punt. There was no one back to return it.
Keith, we've seen a significant variation in the Georgia offensive production since Jackson came in at quarterback. The reason is I think he's got a little more experience. He's a little bit calmer out there. Plus, he's a running threat, where Johnson, the starter, was primarily a passer. Georgia will just fall on the ball here, in my judgment, and go in happy to be only trailing by 7-3. Alabama having 2 or 3 scoring opportunities.
Yeah, but that's the history of Georgia. When they have have given up more than 19 points, they've lost. They don't give up a whole lot of points. Jackson doesn't exactly fall on it. He's got too much ginger in his system for that. He pops over guard and tries to make something out of it, and that'll do it for the first half of play. Alabama 7 and Georgia 3.
A 4-point lead in the first half. You were dominant offensively, and yet you stayed rather conservative.
Well, we wanted to play the game and run the ball on them and control the ball, try to, and keep it away from their offense. And I think it's a typical Georgia game thus far, you know. But I'm certain that they're going to go into halftime, make some adjustments. We're going to have to make a few adjustments defensively and offensively and come back out the second half. It'll be another dogfight second half.
Can you tell us about some of those adjustments? They changed quarterbacks, and with Jackson, of course, he's much more mobile and gave you some problems.
Well, he did, and they hit a couple of big plays on us in the passing game, too, and that's one of the adjustments that we're going to have to make.
Okay, good luck in the second half. Start the second half?
Yeah, we think that he will. His ankle seems to be okay, and he did put a little life in the offense, and we need some life, and hopefully he'll get it, and our backs have got to start running a little bit tougher.
So at quarterback, it'll be James Jackson. Defensively now, you have to be concerned. They were on the field a long time. They've got to stop some third down plays.
We got to make third down plays. They've done a good job of trapping us, running some plays on third down, and good second effort. We got to start tackling better, making third down plays.
Good luck the second half. All right, Keith.
And we're ready to go. Tim, thank you. As Crumbly comes out, he kicked a 37-yard field goal in the second quarter for Georgia's own to scoring. He'll kick off now. Chester Braggs is the deep man for Alabama. Both coaches using different people for kick returning, trying to find the right one. This is back to the 2. And Braggs is up to the 18. 16-yard return for him. Here's a look at the Georgia defensive people now. Calvin Ruff is the defensive end, 200-pounder. And Henry Williams weighs in at 235 at tackle. Henry Harris at 260. Kenneth Sims at 265. And Greg Waters at 235. The backers, John Brantley, 6'2", 215. Bill Mitchell, 6'1", and 220. And Alabama's going to come out of here with Gene Jelks opening at tailback. He is out of Gadsden, was on the team with Larry Rose, that big offensive freshman tackle. And Gene Jelks just burns it. He has blazing speed. They want to season him a little bit. And he's wearing number 22, and I don't think anybody has worn number 22 at Alabama since Tony Nathan left. So they must have some confidence in him to give him that number. Here are the halftime stats.
As we can see, Alabama had the best of the stats. I think the most impressive thing was Georgia could not move the ball being conservatively. They came out and opened up and threw on virtually every down, and that changed some things. It's going to be interesting to see if Alabama's going to stay with their conservative play, thinking they can just keep the lead and their defense stop Georgia. I don't believe they can. I think Alabama's going to have to loosen up some, and risk-taking is essential, Keith, in football. You can't stay conservative. You'll get buried if you do.
So Good is not in there. It is Gene Jelks, number 22.
That's a tough place to put a freshman for the first time.
They say this one has great promise. They give it instead to Craig Turner, and Turner trying to loop outside with it. That was a mistake. He ran right into Greg Waters, and Waters put him on the ground. Senior from Swainsboro, Georgia. And there's a loss on the play of a yard. The offensive front for Alabama, the same that started the ball game. That's going to be a loss of about 2 yards, so make it 2nd down and 12. The Georgia secondary, Gary Moss, number 3, is Texan. And Michael Willis is the other corner. Strong safety of the Rover is John Little and Tony Fleck. On 2nd and 12, Shula hands it off again to Craig Turner, the fullback. And this time Jelks gets into the melee and took a couple of pops trying to block. So now we might see him get the football now that he has been warmed up a little bit. Cincinnati beating St. Louis 4-1. Pete Rose 0 for 3. He needs 6 more to break Ty Cobb's record. And ABC will interrupt regular programming when Pete Rose does break Ty Cobb's record. We'll show it to you, regardless of the time of day or night. Let it happen. 3rd down. And now just a little less than 10.
Alabama's run on 3rd down before.
And they do it again. So that's a very conservative series to open the second half. They run the fullback 3 times, and now they're going to punt it.
If you can get buried trying to be conservative against Georgia. I want to say this. I've been watching Georgia play for many years, and I don't ever remember a team beating them running the football. You have to mix it up. The preordained sequence of run, pass on 3rd down won't cut it.
Now it's up to Moore to kick Bama out of a hole. Otherwise, Georgia could have very good field position for its first offensive possession of the second half.
Georgia has 3 back to handle the punt. He did boom it.
It's high and hanging, not as long as we've seen him kick. Moss kick.
It's a penalty
flag, though, and I think probably you're going to get a call here against Alabama.
There are 2 possibilities here. One is that the defensive man did not give him a 2-yard radius to catch the ball. That is a rule that was put in last year. That will be a 5-yard penalty. If they roughed the safety man who was signaling for a fair catch or didn't give him a chance to catch the ball, that's a 15-yard penalty. We'll see which it is. That's 15 yards.
Did he signal fair catch?
I don't know whether he did or not, but he has to have the right to catch the ball.
I didn't really see
it was 5. 5-yard penalty.
Yeah. 45-yard punt. So they just didn't give him the range. He did not call for a fair catch.
But it doesn't make any difference whether he signals or not. You have to give him 2 yards. And you can see that Alabama man is not giving him 2 yard room to catch the ball. Once the ball starts, it's downward flight.
That's a marginal call, though.
That's the new rule to give the safety man a chance.
It's 1st down from the 38. And Jackson, the quarterback, drops the ball, running down the line, and Georgia covers it at the 35. So Jackson almost commits a serious mistake. The Alabama defense, Brent Soule, 255. Kurt Jarvis, the nose guard, 265, and a good one. Big John Hand is 6'7" and 275, and yes, sir. Randy Rockwell, 6'3", 189. Cornelius Bennett, 6'4", 215. The inside backers are Wayne Davis, 6'4", 210, and Joe Godwin, 6'2", and 215. And it's 2nd down and about 12 and a half. Jackson back looking for a pass, whips run to the sidelines and overthrows Jimmy Hockaday. Bad pass by Jackson. Hard to run to your left and throw to your left. The corners for Alabama, Freddie Robinson, 21, 6'1", 175. And this man is the hitter back there. Vernon Wilkinson, 185 pounds. Rory Turner, the safety. He is 180. Ricky Thomas, 185.
Thomas, the strong safety, has been injured and missed much of practice. Recovered this week and made the starting lineup. Started last year and some as a freshman.
Georgia, 3 wideouts now. Jackson back to throw. Gets some pressure, runs away from it. He can do that. But he won't get his 1st down. He's come about to the original line of scrimmage, the 38-yard line. Wayne Davis, the linebacker, finally ran him down. And so Georgia makes some noise, but they don't produce a whole lot offensively insofar as yardage is concerned in their first offensive possession. And now they'll go to the punt.
Georgia on that series ran an option play and called 2 passes. That is a sharp departure from what they did starting the ball game for the first quarter and a half.
Chris Carpenter's in to punt. His last kick in the first half was a 51-yarder, his long one of the night. This will be his 5th punt of the night. And it's a good high one. And this time Richardson says, I want to make a fair catch. I had my body bruised severely in that first half. This is only good for 33 yards, but the hang time was very good. Now for Alabama, as Mike Shula comes trotting on the field. And when they come out of the huddle, we'll check the backs. There's Turner, and it's still Jelks in there, number 22. He's yet to carry the ball. Last time, the fullback carried it 3 times. And they punted. Jelks has got it. Bounces outside. He can run, picks up 7. Tony Flack brings him down. He just kind of cruised it in and zip outside.
Keith, I was impressed with his first college carry. He showed the speed. He showed good presence of mind. The blocking wasn't there to cut inside. He faked inside and then outran the Georgia secondary and the support to the corner and made 7 or 8 yards. That's the first good gain Alabama's made circling the Georgia defense.
Second down and 3. Ball just over the 35. Jelks slants it over the left side and gets a yard short of the first down. And a little ruckus breaks out on the field, but nothing to it. Greg Waters brought him down. Brantley involved. Brantley stepping in, filling some big shoes. This inside backers, they were so good a year ago. They had Knox, Culpepper for one. I mean, they've had some outstanding linebackers, and I think Brantley's going to be another one.
Keith, that's an outstanding play on Brantley's part. That wasn't a blitz by the linebacker. He read the isolation play, and as soon as he did, he shot the gap, took on the fullback, and stopped the play. That's just outstanding defensive play.
Third down and 2. And Alabama has been charged with a timeout. They didn't call it as much as they were charged with the timeout for some reason. This year, a bit of change. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. First, this comment from Ray Perkins on Al Bell.
He catches the ball as well as anybody I've ever seen, with the exception of John Jefferson when I was at San Diego in '78. But everything he touches, he catches it, and he's tough. He'll block. He can run with the ball, and he's got great movement for his lateral movement. He's got lateral movement like a running back.
That's high praise indeed from Ray Perkins, who wasn't too bad himself. This is a pitch outside to Turner on 3rd down and 2, and he doesn't make it. Bill Mitchell, the weak side backer, came across and got him. And it'll be 4th down for Alabama and bring the punting team on the field. Let me explain that new rule to you. Johnson, the tackle for Alabama, had a broken helmet or something, and he didn't get off the field, and so they were charged a timeout, because otherwise he's got to go off and get a substitute in, and he didn't do it, and so Alabama has 2 timeouts remaining, and now the punters are on.
Keith, give Willis, the cornerback, part of the praise for that last play with Mitchell. He forced very quickly, forced the play into the pursuing linebacker for the short gain and stopped him on 3rd down.
More to punt, no pressure on him.
Good.
Shoots a howitzer. Good grief. It's in the end zone. The yardage, 62 yards. Boy, we got 2 kids in this game tonight that can really pop it. Nebraska hosts Florida State next Saturday at 3 Eastern Time. The Seminoles beating Tulane 38-12 in the opener. Tom Osborne will show off his Cornhuskers for the first time next Saturday. It'll be in Lincoln. It'll be another sellout. It'll be exciting. And then September 14, we will have BYU Washington or UCLA Tennessee. So check your local listing. That's a couple of dandies right there. It's 1st down Georgia. The ball at their 20. Jackson is the quarterback. Gives the ball to Lars Tate. And Lars Tate runs it up to about the 26, and a penalty flag comes out of a Heisman pocket. And you might have a face mask.
I believe it's a clipping, Keith.
Or a clip.
The flanker coming inside seemed to make the clip. Boy, that's tough on Georgia. Have a little room. Then they get the 15-yard penalty. Takes them right back into long yardage and forces the pressure right on the quarterback, Jackson. Troon Jackson, number 24. No, I'm sorry, Osmond, the wide receiver's coming in.
Red team, half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That's a rough penalty.
Yes, it is. Something Georgia didn't need at this time. Backed up again as they were most of the first quarter.
9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, 7-3. Alabama leads. James Jackson rolls it left. Running for his life. Wants to throw it, can't.
Boy, what speed Cornelius Bennett has. How do you play outside linebacker? First, his responsibility is to be sure that they don't circle him. When the pass shows, he gets a little penetration, but he then keeps his legs free. First man, then he keeps his leg free for the second time. Now watch his speed. Jackson has great speed. Watch Bennett run him down right there. What a great defensive play.
And it goes down as a sack as the ball comes back to the 10-yard line. Second down and 20. And this is Tate running the ball over right tackle. Big hole, and never really did have his full balance, but even so brings the ball out to the 26.
Horace Tate is a real story for Georgia. Home, Indianapolis, Indiana. Great record. Played some last year. Very tentative. Didn't know really what to expect. Here is an outstanding play of Tate cutting back on a sweep play, seeing a little daylight, running for first 4 yards, then breaking the linebacker clean and making extra yardage.
And on third down and 3, Tron Jackson replaces him. Tate has 30 yards on 7 carries, and James Jackson will throw it. Swing it out to Tron, and there's folks out there waiting for it. Guess who? Number 97, Bennett.
Bennett is all over the field. It's uncanny how the great players are at the right place. Bennett seems to be in the huddle of the Georgia team. Whichever side Georgia runs or passes, Bennett is on that side. And there's no book on Georgia because this is the first game of the season. What a great play.
They will punt now on 4th and 7 as Carpenter comes in.
Once again, Georgia stopped by a penalty of an offensive mistake. First game of the season.
Trailing 7-3. Low kick, but long. And Richardson has to retreat to his 26 to take it. Now gets a crack. And McCluskey runs him down and keeps him from going for 6. A great return by Greg Richardson, but even better, the blocking. The wedge opened a big seam for him, and he took off.
If you called it right when you said a low kick, when you kick the ball 55 yards off the line of scrimmage, then you see some great blocking. Number 56, Greg Gilbert, just a freshman linebacker from Decatur, Georgia, by the way, makes an outstanding block to spring Richardson free for the long run.
And it's first down Alabama at the Georgia 36 with 7:17 to go in the third quarter. The Tide leading 7-3. Shula pitches to Chester Braggs. Braggs trying to sweep. Gets to the 35, and that'll do it.
Roll call for the Georgia defense. 7-8 red shirts out on the sweep. Just a dead play as a rule against the Georgia defense, and here's why. The role of a linebacker, what makes a good one? Diagnose the play. Be active and live and find a way to chase the play where you do not get cut off. Look at Brantley, 42. Fight his way through the line and come over with Mitchell, the other linebacker, and making the play.
And it's second down and about 9. Shula gives to Braggs. Down at the 34. So the hairy dog is growing hair, isn't he?
Georgia defense plays so many fronts. It's hard to block everybody. Henry Williams is from 2 miles from this stadium. Homegrown boy finally getting in the starting lineup and made an outstanding play on the fake pass and run.
Alabama better get some points, though.
They had an opportunity. Started with this one on the 35-yard line. First down in Georgia territory. Now they end up 3rd and 9. There's Henry Williams, number 90.
They got Jelks in there at tailback, and Bell has seen the ball twice. Once it was intercepted, and the second time he caught it. This goes to Jelks.
I don't understand that call. Unless they're going to try for a field goal, which would make it 40 to 52-yard field goal.
Tippin. He's coming.
He kicked the 52-yard field goal last year in the Alabama-Auburn game, Keith, which was the difference in the ball game. He's 15 out of 20 last season.
So he puts his tee down on the 38. This is a 48-yarder.
He kicked the 52-yarder before, and that was in the Alabama
53
game.
against Penn State was his
53,
record.
that's right.
He kicked 2 in that game to win it 6-0. The holder is Larry Abney. Plenty of leg. Good. That might have been dead center. There's no wind tonight, virtually none. I mean, the flag is hanging. Kickoff from the 40, Van Tiffen. from Red Bay, Alabama, will kick it, and Georgia will have deep Tron Jackson, number 25, and Gary Moss, number 3. Not too deep, but it's high. Moss.
Let's watch Tiffin reaction after he kicks this ball. When you're good, flown it. When you're good, flown it. He knew he was going to hit it all along. Just very, 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 very calm and collected. He knew he was going to kick it. Every day in practice and in the ball game, too. Penn State and Georgia. 53-yarder.
All right. From the 24, Georgia goes to work. Fred Lane in motion. Jackson hands it off inside. Try to pop it quickly with McCluskey, but Kurt Jarvis wouldn't buy it. And Jarvis won the wrestling match.
Keith, let me give you my perspective of what's happening tactically in the ball game. Alabama must feel that they can control the Georgia offense, which has a very inexperienced offensive line, a young quarterback. They don't have to take any chances offensively. They can win with their defense. That's the reason they're staying so conservative, I would guess.
Jackson still got it on a bootleg. Brought down by Vernon Wilkinson, the right cornerback, who is a seasoned, tough player at right corner for Alabama. But James Jackson got his first down.
This is one of those bootlegs that translated means naked, Keith. Those of you that tuned in late last year.
No. That's today.
Oh,
Becker. Boris Becker got beat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Nystrom beat him. Big upset in the U.S. Open. This is Jackson rolling, whips one to the sidelines, and it bounces in front of the intended receiver. The receiver being Cassius Osborne. Coming up at the end of the game, we are going to pick a Chevrolet play of the game. And I think it's far and away too early. If you picked it now, it would be relatively simple. But it will mean $1,000 to the Winning Schools General Scholarship Fund.
That's a new wrinkle, Keith. Picking the play instead of the player.
Well, it gets you away from having to pick an outstanding player, and sometimes that's harder than it would seem, too. And now Jackson doesn't like what he's got to work with on 2nd down and 10 and calls a timeout. And time remaining third quarter, 4 minutes and 20. They're sitting just in a little overhang below the press box here at Sanford Stadium, along with 82,000, and the ball is handed off to Lars Tate. And Alabama just eats him up on a 2nd down and 10. I'm not sure that represented the kind of imagination one would think would come out of a timeout.
Big John Hand, number 78, stands 6'7", 275 pounds. They block him the way I think he should, down at his feet, but he gets up because it was a delayed play, cutting back to the weak side, and he jumps up and makes the play. Uh-oh, there's Cornelius Bennett had his leg stung on that play. Leaving the game, Keith.
Walking like it's...
Let's see if we can detect what happened. He had an ankle injury in the preseason practice and missed a lot of the two-a-day work. Let's see if we can detect what happened. Number 97, Cornelius Bennett. He braces himself. He sees the play coming back. Helps on the tackle. And then his teammate, Wayne Davis, falls on the back of him. I guess is the only thing it could possibly be. Number 58, Wayne Davis.
3rd down and 10 now. James Jackson looking to throw it. Penalty flag down. Jackson running is knocked out of bounds across the field. And we'll see about the flag. Ricky Thomas, the strong safety, was the man that came all the way across the field with Jackson and ran him out. And looks like a call against Georgia.
That'll be holding, and Alabama is likely to refuse the penalty since he'll bring up 4th down and 10.
A moment with Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, they've got Cornelius Bennett on the Alabama bench here behind me. They're working on him. Now, when he came out after that last offensive series or the defensive series on his behalf, he had cramps. They worked on those. He's got cramps again, and now they're cutting the tape off his ankle. They think that that might be causing the pressure that's cramping up his calf, but that's what it is. It's cramps on Cornelius Bennett.
Keith, you take your fingers and pinch your upper lip, and the cramps leave.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Tell me, I pinch your upper lip, and the cramps will leave you. That's all you have to do.
You go down there and tell Cornelius that, and the trainer would beat you to death with a stool.
Sure, I'm telling you.
A roll of tape.
Have a cramp in the bed, I pinch my upper lip, and it leaves. We did that on our team in Arkansas.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
I'll try it. Next time I have to run the stairs.
Give me the result.
Carpenter's in to punt. Gets it out pretty well. Richardson back. Catches it. And runs back about 3 yards with the return. That was a 39-yard punt by Carpenter and a 5-yard return. And here again is Tim Brent.
Hey, Keith, I'm with Walter Lewis, who played in this Alabama offensive scheme. Are you concerned at all, or are you a little bit surprised at the conservative play calling?
I'm not surprised. Coach Perkins has a lot of young players out there, and having young players, you want to give them a chance to do what they can do and not put them under a tremendous amount of pressure.
Very quickly, in your first game, Ray Perkins, was he conservative in the play calling, and did he open up later?
Yes, as the season went on with me, under Coach Perkins, we opened up our offense a whole lot. You know, the first game, you're kind of jittery and what you can do, and you limit yourself a little bit.
All right, Walter. Keith.
Mike Bobo carries. And he picks up a couple of yards on the play from the 30 out to about the 32.
The Alabama coaching staff just believe they've got complete control of the Georgia offense. I think we should point out that Georgia's offense has a very young, inexperienced offensive line, a quarterback that's played very little, a tight end that played defense, running backs that are very young, inexperienced, so maybe they have played it just the perfect way to win a tight ball game and walk away with a victory.
Shula keeps it. Dives short of the first down by a yard. That was the 40th Alabama rushing play of the night. Cardinals lose to Cincinnati. Browning beating Andujar. Andujar was the second, I guess, to go to 20, wasn't he? And the Mets will pick up the game if they can stay with that big cushion over San Diego in the third inning. Third and a short yard.
Georgia has won these short yard situations before.
Not this time. Goode dives over the top and picks up enough for the first down. Georgia's next game will be Clemson, and Alabama's next game in 2 weeks will be Texas A&M, Birmingham.
I'm sure Jackie Sherrill, who played at Alabama, is looking forward to that game.
Well,
a chance to come back home, and
he feels, and there's some heat on Jackie. Without being fancy about it, Jack's got some pressure on him to produce something akin to a winner down there at A&M this year.
Well, you make that kind of salary, which I wish we had. I had, but
Shula, left hand's one downfield. Pass is caught. Pulled in by Mike Bobo, but it's a possession-type pass, and there's a penalty flag thrown. Could be roughing the passer.
I believe that's what it was, Keith. It seemed to me it was a very close call. Certainly don't want the pass of the quarterback to get hit in the face. And the penalty will be from the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 15 yards against the Georgia Bulldogs. This is the second penalty they've had for roughing the passer. No, I don't guess it was roughing. It must have defensive holding.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, automatic first down.
Well, I wonder why he penalized 10 yards. Let's see if we can tell. Little, let's see if we can tell. No, Little didn't rush. He's backing off. It was a little pass to the fullback out in the flat. Bobo. Little makes a great play.
It's first down, Alabama, at the 49 of Georgia. Option, Shula pitches almost too late to Shelps. He fumbled the ball out of bounds. Alabama will keep possession. That time it was Michael Willis, cornerback, getting him.
Out of bounds at the 45.
Let's go back to the last play. Let's see, 59, Waters. That's the call, roughing the passer. Waters, number 59. Flag dropped right there.
Got a little picky.
It's a game of contact.
Second down and about 5. Ball at the Georgia 44. Jelks again. Oh, boy. There's a nail job by Big Henry Williams.
Henry Williams is playing the position that Jimmy Payne played for Georgia, and Freddie Gilbert, two outstanding players. He's trying to fill some big shoes, but it's a position that you can make some big plays. If you have the quickness, the ability to close to the ball. Henry is 6'4", 6'3", weighs about 260 pounds.
He's a sophomore.
Alabama has 46 attempts, 42 runs, and 4 passes. Is that conservative? Third and long. They've run every third and long down, and now they're going to throw.
Fumbles the football.
Bounces back up. Keith out.
And they came right back to him, didn't they?
Yes. Teammate fell.
David Johnson it was.
Yes.
David Johnson covered it, number 60. So they're lucky to get it back, and they'll punt. Andy Loy, who's playing with a very sore leg, coming off knee surgery, but he's a spiritual leader on this team and a quick, tough-nosed football player, and he's right in there. You see the ball come bouncing around, and then old David Johnson jumps over.
Will kick for Alabama.
As a rule, when you fumble, the quarterback fumbles, the defense is surrounding you, and they have the best chance of getting the ball. Lucky for Alabama.
Pressure on Moore, gets it out, and he didn't kill that one. He got some heat, but he gets a good bounce out of it, and now Moss is going to let it roll.
Keith, that's one of my friends figured up that every time the ball hits, you let a punt hit, it'll average rolling 16 yards. This one will roll more than 16 yards. Probably 5, 10, 15, closer to 20.
And a very average punt turns out to be a 47-yarder because of it. ABC's premiere of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. At this hour next week, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the Dallas Cowboys of the Washington Redskins.
Boy, Joe Gibbs at Washington has done a great job, and Tom Landry, two of the best coaches in America. It should be a whale of a ball game.
This is number 38, Tim Worley. He was in for a couple of plays in the first half. He's in the backfield right now with another freshman, Keith Henderson. So you got to have a pretty tight stomach when you put two untested freshmen in the backfield. First down at your own 6-yard line. Third quarter is over. We'll continue after this. We've played 3 periods. 15 minutes to go. 1 touchdown lead for Alabama in a very conservatively played game by the Crimson Tide. Declaration literally to the defense.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alabama defense has been outstanding. They have complete control of the game.
Inside, it's Henderson carrying out close to the 15. He's going to be a yard or so short of the first down, so it'll be 3rd and short for Georgia. Cornelius Bennett, out with cramps, is still there on the sideline.
The Georgia offensive line has 1 senior, Anderson, at center, 2 sophomores, and 2 juniors. The sophomores had very little experience, and neither had the juniors.
Well, Anderson was scheduled to play guard. Yeah. Keith Johnson went down with back problems. He's got a ruptured disc, going to have some surgery to fix it. They need him. He's a big 300-pounder. And here's James Jackson, quarterback keeper, slants it over the left side, picks up the first down as Todd Roper brings him down. Here are your third quarter stats.
Well, there's still not much offense, very limited, and regardless of how the coaches, Alabama still leads, Keith, regardless of how the coaches want to open up, they are controlled by the ability of their quarterback. If their quarterback can't do it, you cannot open up. That tells what happened.
Bennett has now returned to the ball game. So I guess he's all right. It's first down Bulldogs. Out near the 18. James Jackson drops the throw. Gets it off deep. Way downfield and too long, intended for Osborne.
5'10". He threw it about nearly 60 yards, Keith. He has that rifle arm. 3rd and long, 2nd long, he just turned and threw it. Nobody was open. Threw it over everybody's head. Jackson, the quarterback.
Osborne running with Rory Turner. Really hadn't gained much on him. They were pretty much shoulder to shoulder. Jackson let it go.
Last year, Alabama was last in the Southeastern Conference in total offense, and Georgia was 9th. And it all stems from what you do with your quarterback. How much ability do you have there, whether he can play a major role and take the load, make big things happen.
That pass is thrown into the air conditioner on the sidelines, incomplete.
One thing that Alabama's defense has done is taken this Georgia crowd right out of the ball game.
Yep.
And that was important for Ray Perkins. You give credit to that Alabama defense. Bennett, Hand, Jarvis, Sowell, Rockwell, Wayne Davis,
I understand, but all it takes is one freak play that could turn into a big play, and you're tied.
Well, that's what happened in the Cotton Bowl game. Texas had a chance to be national champion. 3 field goals, 9-3 was the score. And then the fumble punt. Georgia took it in, won 10-9. That's what they play for. That's been the Vince Dooley formula for a long time.
They're well short of the first down on Tim Worley's carry, and in comes Carpenter to punt again, and the Alabama receiving team comes back out with Richardson dropping for them. Carpenter's punting tonight. He's been busy. He's had 2, 4, 7 kicks.
In the nation last year, the two teams have averaged close to 400 yards passing, over 370 yards per game between the two teams. I'd say tonight we're way behind that average. Gosh, what a kick. Look at that, Steve.
They really hang it, don't they? Richardson tries it. Bad decision. So they bury Greg Richardson well back around the 32-yard line with 13:01 to play. Defensive tackle position for Georgia, very quietly, really, but he's making those inside plays. Kenneth Sims now has credit for 14 tackles.
He's a senior, Keith, and been steady for the last 3 years.
First down, Alabama from the 33. And up the middle goes Craig Turner, who's had a big night for the Tide, and he runs for a first down to about the 48. I think this time they must have moved Sims out, didn't they?
Well, they trapped him, meaning the center block's one direction. Number 7, let's see, Sims is 57, the center 54. Neighbors is blocking him. Boy, he made a nice block, and that opens up the hole to the other side for the trap play for a nice gain. Good block by Neighbors on Sims.
Turner now 13 carries and 53 yards, and penalty flags as Kerry Good carries on the first down from the 48.
Alabama jumped the gun, Chief. They were too eager to get after that Georgia defense. I just don't see Alabama taking any chances as long as that defense can play like they've played so far, and the kicking game can hold up with Moore doing an outstanding job, the freshman redshirt.
Dead ball foul, illegal procedure, 5 yards. Still first down.
And 15.
Alabama has thrown, you joined us late, Alabama has thrown 4 passes in this ball game. 1 for a touchdown. Coach Georgia in the blitz playing man for man. A wide receiver open for a touchdown. The only score of the game.
This is Good surging back in there to about the original line of scrimmage, the 48. Well, since Shula threw one to him high under pressure and he was intercepted, then he hooked up with him for the touchdown. Since then, Albert Bell has disappeared from the ballgame. He's on the field.
Well, Keith, he's a threat when he's out. He's not playing. No, yes, he is. He's out there. Oh, he's a threat.
Well, they haven't thrown the ball in this whole half, second half.
Well, they've only thrown 4 for the ball game. That's surprising.
Greg Richards got to be saying, hey, what about me? Jelks is in there at tailback now. And Shula rolls it out and pumps it down the middle to the big tight end, Thornton Chandler. And the 6'6"er from Jacksonville, Florida, pulls it in for a completion at the 34 of Georgia.
Misdirection pass, meaning the backs go one direction, the quarterback comes the other. Has a tendency to distort the rush, and it distorts the pass coverage. Some of the people go with the backs, some of the other players go with the quarterback, and the tight end, Chandler, is right over the middle, 6'6", jumps up and catches the ball.
And it's first down Tide at the Dog 34. Shula's now 4 out of 5 for 62 yards and a touchdown. And this is number 44, Craig Turner, running the ball to the 30 for 4 yards. We're using tonight the Skycam and as part of our coverage of the ball game. That's the latest state-of-the-art, as a matter of fact, in television. It's suspended from 4 wires up there. Got a little motor up at the top, and it goes zinging around and gets all kinds of different angles for you. And we're happy to have the use of it tonight. That's the picture from the Skycam right there.
It's freaky looking, Keith. Looks like a robot, yeah.
Well, it is a robot in a sense. Fine tackle by Greg Waters and Bill Mitchell as they pinch the running back Turner and just slam him right down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, once again, Alabama's in field goal range. If they can get a field goal, Georgia would have to score twice to win the ball game. They're within the range of Van Tippen. Ray Perkins, by the way, Keith, is calling every play. He's coaching the quarterbacks this year for the first time, and he's calling every play.
Braggs is in and Jelks goes out. Turner stays in. Shula back, look out for Bell. Bell down the middle. Had the ball, but a wicked hit by John Little. And welcome to Division 1A, Mr. Bell.
I was going to say that, Chief. John Little played it perfectly. Anytime you play a defensive linebacker like Bell is playing, it's a pass. He has to drop back. His role is to drop back and cover those intermediate zones and come up on the ball thrown in front of him. He anticipates Bell catching the ball, watch him come up and hit him, and the ball goes up incomplete. Fine play.
47-yard field goal try coming up now by Mr. Van Tippen. Hit a 48-yarder earlier. This one may not get there. Wide to the right. Well, he hits from 48 and misses from 47 with 9:52 to go in the ball game. It's still up for grabs. The ball is just short of the 30 now. And as I said, the game is still up for grabs.
How many times have we seen Georgia pull a game out in the last few minutes because their defense kept them in the ball game so that offense could get going?
Worley dropped it. Alabama's got it. Dropped it right into the hands of Cornelius Bennett.
How does Bennett get on the side, Keith? They run every time. He absolutely seems to be right where Georgia's going to run the ball. What a great play he makes here. Has the play botched up. The back
picking up Easter eggs.
Yeah,
there.
but what happened, Worley was looking at him and took his eyes off the ball. Bennett playing the option play. His responsibility is not to let him get outside. He starts going to the boundary. Going to cut the ball carrier off at the corner. The ball pops right out in front of him.
Now you got a tired Georgia defense trying to defend the goal line from about the 28-yard line. Alabama has it. Shula gives to Turner. A yard maybe.
I haven't seen the Georgia defense blitz, an all-out blitz, since the touchdown pass. And what Alabama did, Keith, they kept their tight end, the two backs in to give them maximum protection. Two wide receivers were out on that touchdown pass. Only two, and they hit the touchdown. That's the way they attacked the blitz package.
They're not loading up this time either. Turner picks up the ball and just puts his head down and keeps on trucking. And he's going to have about 5 on that carry.
Shula was shocked when the ball came right through his hands and bounced, and Turner happened to be going in the right direction. This is uncanny. The ball bounces right there, and Turner, what an athlete. He didn't slow down at all. He picked it up and made a nice gain. Could have been a break for Georgia.
Georgia hasn't had many breaks so far tonight in the ball game.
Well, they haven't earned them either, Keith.
That's right. Moon just inside the Georgia 24. Shula back. Looks for Bell, close to the corner for Bell. He catches it. He's out of bounds. No TD. Moss was with him, and Bell veered to the outside, and when he made the catch, he was off the playing field.
Bell ran right by Moss, the defensive cornerback. A little inside fake, just a delay. In fact, Moss stays in his back pedal too long. He let Bell get too close to him. Should have turned and run with him. He doesn't have the speed. Should have given him a little more cushion. Georgia is lucky the pass was out of bounds. Right on the line.
Down right on the chalk, it looks like. And so the Dogs dodge a bullet, and here comes Van Tippen back into the ball game, and this is a 41-yarder. He missed a while ago from 47. He's got this one on the way, and it's good. So he's kicked 48 and 41 and missed from 47, and it's now 13-3. Crimson Tippin will now kick off. Alabama holding a 10-point lead, and time remaining is 8:38. With Moss and Jackson deep for Georgia, it goes to Moss at the 6. Well, he had a little daylight, but he is knocked off balance and goes down around the 24. Here's Tim Brent.
Keith, we just talked to Cornelius Bennett before he went back on the field and tried to find out what he is keying on, how he is lining up and why. When Georgia comes out in a split backfield or a regular set, then he goes to the tight end side. When they come out with two receivers to the same side or twins to that side, he'll go to that side, which is pretty much what outside linebackers do on the strong side anyway. But the defensive coordinator has been gambling. He's been taking chances, and if he has a feeling that he wants to move to the weak side, he'll move Cornelius over there. But pretty much it's been basic to the strong side.
And Wayne Johnson returns to the quarterback position for Georgia. Ron Jackson carries, trying to go around the corner. And number 34, Ricky Thomas, comes up and denies him.
Keith, let's put the game in perspective from a coach's standpoint. Alabama felt that they could win. A win is a win first. Perkins needed this win desperately, and he felt as the game progressed, I'm sure, that his defense had control. Let us keep Georgia backed up. If they make a mistake, we'll get a touchdown, and Georgia has not shown anything where they could score on Alabama. I think, you know, that they had the plan pretty well worked out.
Now Georgia's in the position of where they've got to throw the ball deeper than they threw it right there, but Johnson delivered a bullet, and the ball was caught by the tight end, Wycliffe Lovelace, and Rocky Rockwell and Joe Guffin are both there. Now watch, this ball is pretty much into coverage.
It's a curl pass with a split end going deep, and you're right, Keith. 57 Rockwell was right there, as was Godwin, the linebacker.
3rd down and 2. Georgia's 1 out of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Johnson rolling out is close to it, but it won't get it as Bennett denied him, as Cornelius Bennett once again, right place, right time.
Bennett, again, responsibility, defensive end. Watch him delay the tight end, Lovelace, from going out. No wonder everybody says that Bennett is another Lawrence Taylor. He's bigger than I think Lawrence Taylor was at this time of his career. Bennett weighs 230, 6'4", and runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. That is a dominant, gifted athlete.
They bring the change out to see precisely how far they are from the first down.
Georgia's going to have to go for it.
Well, they got Carpenter on the field.
Well, they'll take him out. My judgment.
It's a half a yard.
They got no choice. They've got to go for it.
6:57.
Risk-taking is essential at certain parts of the game. If you don't, you wait too long, it's too late. Doesn't do you any good.
Well, they're going.
It's a smart thing to do. If they get beat 20-3, what's the difference in 13-3? They need to win this ball game. Georgia lost 4 games last year, and they've only lost 6, Keith, in this decade.
All right, they've got Lars Tate in there at running back. Wayne Johnson is the quarterback. And Keith Henderson is in there along with McCluskey. You figure McCluskey probably, huh?
Yep.
Nope, it's Tate. And he's got the first down, I think. Looks like they'll mark him very close to the 35.
Good call, Keith. He's the first down by 3 inches.
Well, you saw now, Tate took the ball, took a step and a half left, and then cut back. Instead of giving it to McCluskey where he could just pop in there, but McCluskey was in a posture where he was looking straight at Kurt Jarvis and John Hand. So
the reason
maybe it was a good call.
The reason for that, to get an extra blocker. McCluskey becomes the additional blocker to pick up any leakage from the blocks of the line.
Now Johnson's back. Fired. Good.
Good throw, Keith.
Herman Archie pulled it down. That one had some heat on it, didn't it?
Threw the ball right between the linebackers, rolling to the left. Archie curls to the inside, trying to find the deep opening between the linebackers and in front of the safety. Number 21, Robinson. Archie made a good catch, going back against the grain and catching it.
Ball is near the 47 of Alabama. First down with 6 minutes to play. Ron Jackson in with McCluskey now. They're still throwing. Dump it off. Hockaday. Another Georgia first down. Close to the Alabama 35.
Keith, I'll never forget the Penn State game when Georgia didn't do anything and scored in 15 seconds before the half, lose 80 yards. This is a delayed play where Hockaday waits and fakes a block and then comes off the block. The linebackers had dropped very deep, covering the wide receiver. Excellent call.
4 straight now for Johnson. Too high, off the one stretched hand of Herman Archie.
Good strong arm by Johnson. Tough throw to the boundary. 15 yards. Johnson is a redshirt freshman, 6'4", mostly a pure passer, not a good runner, playing in his first college game, national television.
This is Cron Jackson. And he's close to the 30, about 4.5 yards short of the first down as Wayne Davis grabbed his legs. And Johnson is also the first black athlete ever to start at quarterback at the University of Georgia.
Well, Keith, that particular play, the fake pass and run was set up beautifully. Jackson, Cron, is their fastest back, and he had a chance really to break through and make a long run. Puts Georgia in 3rd and 5, and they're right on schedule for the first down. Makes it a lot easier than 3rd and 10 as we look at Johnson's numbers.
4:50 to play in the ball game. 13-3 Alabama. The pass is caught. Great catch by Osborne. Oh-wee, that was a great catch.
Osborne is going to stretch out. When he turns inside, the ball is led to his inside. When quarterbacks are taught to throw low and inside, the ball's a little bit higher than he probably wanted, but an outstanding catch, and he holds on to it. When his left arm hits the ground, he puts it in his right arm so it won't pop out.
And it's just short of the 10-yard line of Alabama. First down, Georgia. Cron Jackson and Henderson and Johnson throwing. Drills it. End zone. Touchdown. Hockaday.
Is that poise? That's what we talked about passing. What we can do is the great equalizer. Georgia has not done anything running the football. All of a sudden, they open up and move down the field beautifully. Look like Brigham Young, Miami, any other great passing team. This is an outstanding throw, Keith. I mean, he put some zip on this ball. It's drilled between the two defensive men. Turner 37, Robinson 21. Two outstanding players, and they seem to be going for 2.
They are. Johnson's in there.
They want a field goal chance to win. Touchdown. They went for 1. It would put them in a field goal to tie.
Now they've called a timeout. I think George Hafner got involved in it, didn't he?
Georgia's offensive coordinator, and a very good one. Keith, I've seen Georgia do this so many times. It looks like just a normal game.
So they'll take time to rest. They'll take time to talk. You've got 4:21 to play in the game. 4 minutes and 17 seconds for the Georgia Bulldogs, and now they're going for 2, trying to make it a 13-11 ball game. Under Vince Dooley, their record here at Sanford Stadium is 29-2.
Keith, that's in the decade of the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Georgia will move the ball to the left hash mark so that they can have more room to the right.
They've got Henderson and McCluskey in there. The crowd official, 81,277. Well, I was told all the tickets had been picked up. Had sort of tacky weather around this part of the country. A lot of rain yesterday, and it was rainy again this morning. But it cleared up in the afternoon and got quite warm.
How about hot?
Yeah, how about hot? Let's see if Hockaday is the man here. He comes wide. Archie comes wide. Henderson in motion. Johnson rolls to Hockaday's side. Throws in the corner, and it's no good. Intended for Keith Henderson. Had his hands on it, but it was a little out in front, and he couldn't stretch to it.
It's another one of those freshmen. Henderson, playing in his first college game, was in high school last year. True freshman.
Now, as Georgia will kick off after this timeout, the crowd getting back into the game. As Georgia came down and scored, missed on the 2-point try, 13-9 ball game. Chester Braggs is deep now. as Crumley will kick off for the Bulldogs. 4-point margin for the Crimson Tide. You feel, I know, Frank, that Alabama now must get a little more fanciful in their offense.
I don't believe they can sit on the ball with the way Johnson looked on that last drive. I think Georgia has found them a quarterback. Alabama had 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're lined up perfectly.
High kick going to the goal line, a yard deep. And I think he made a good decision. Puts his knee down, and he'll come out to the 20.
Now it's up to the Georgia defense to position themselves to win the ball game. They've got to stop Alabama on 3 plays, force the kick, then they'll have good field position. Now it gets tight. The old coaches get tight right here. and this is where the advantage of Ray Perkins of calling his own plays. He doesn't have to turn to the signal caller and say, I want to do this. It's up to him. He makes the decision. He has the grasp of the offense. He'll make the play. He can call it right here. Whatever he feels is best.
Here comes the crowd. Good and Turner in the backfield behind Schuler. It's Turner. 3 yards. 57, Kenny Sims. Big long arm took his feet out from under him.
Georgia has, what, 2 timeouts, Keith? Is that
one? Both teams have 1 timeout remaining. Alabama lost 1 on that equipment charge.
Looking at the wrong scoreboard. Doesn't have it on that one. That's the reason I couldn't find it.
2nd and 7.
Big play coming up.
Gives it to Kerry Good. And Good is to about the 27, so it'll be 3rd and 3. Play selection so far in the game. Alabama, 58 plays, 51 runs.
Henry Harris, the nose guard, came close to taking that handoff off of Schuler's hand. It was a trap play where they let him across the line, and then we're going to block him, but he was so deep, he nearly took the ball right from Schuler. Oh, is this the big one? This is the key for Georgia right here.
Timeout. Well, the crowd got into it.
Yes, sir.
Alabama now has spent its last timeout. Time remaining in the game. 3:08. Alabama 13. Georgia.
Keith, I agree. I believe that Georgia's found him a quarterback. We'll be right back.
4th down. Alabama will punt. Deep man for Georgia is Fred Lane. He's a junior. He's a speedster. He's a wide receiver. Georgia's in return posture. They don't show they're going after him, but not with. Oh, it's blocked! It is blocked! It is blocked and into the end zone, and it is touchdown Georgia. I don't believe it. Kelvin Ruff covers it, and I believe it was Terry Webster who blocked it. Unbelievable.
How many times have we seen Georgia? The flag for the team running out on the field.
Yeah, because of the celebration.
15-yard penalty on the kickoff.
Listen to the crowd. 50 seconds to play. The Bulldogs block a punt and get a touchdown.
Somebody on the Georgia defense came clean. I don't know who busted the play.
It was Webster came clean. I think it was number 60. Might have been Henry Williams, 90. 60, Webster. The extra point is good. Crumley knocks it through. It's 16-13 Georgia.
I think I was just kidding myself by saying Georgia might pull it out. They've done it so many times. But here again, a typical Georgia game. Fourth quarter.
The man who made the play, though, Frank, listen, he is a redshirt freshman from Haines City, Florida.
I wish we could see what happened, whether he came clean or whether they had a stunt. Georgia made 1, 2.
He's a reserve linebacker.
And the kicker took 3 long steps, Keith, and he didn't get the ball high. A freshman kicker kicking in his first game. I don't know whether we can run that back again. Yesterday, Keith, we talked about him being a step and a half kicker. He took a half a step with his right foot all yesterday and stepped with his left foot 86.
Kelvin Rupp.
Kelvin Rupp. The second one in. Let's see what happens on the play. The tackle blocks out, and the left guard does not block it. The left guard busted the play. What a great effort, though, Keith. He left his feet, went out in front where the ball would be leaving the foot, and then number 86, Calvin Ruff, pushes the ball in the end zone and recovers it for the touchdown. Well, mistake. First ball game. As we look at Ray Perkins, must feel like the world has come down on him. Had the game won, a mistake in the foot kicking game. Let's establish the second man from the left in red. The third man from the left is the one that blocks him. And he just gets a piece of him. The second man from the left released out to block the end. The third man from the left offensively tried to block him, and he didn't get enough of him to knock him off balance. The second man on the left of Alabama turned out to block the end, and I think that was the mistake because the end stayed in and blocked. 2 men blocked 1, leaving.
Well, now Rupp pushed the ball in the end zone.
Yes, and that's legal.
Reached underneath and got it. Georgia's assessed 15 yards for the big celebration in the end zone, and the kickoff will come from the 25, and Bobby Humphrey, a speedster, is back there. So here's your kickoff by Crumley, and it's short with collision down there for Alabama, and it'll be down just short of the 30. Sean Lee came over as Humphrey was racing to get to the ball and simply couldn't get there, so Lee came across to pick it up, and they collided. Now Shula is 5 out of 8 for 67 yards in the ball game. He has no timeouts to work with, and he's got 50 seconds remaining to play in the game, and Georgia leads 16-13.
And Shula has to work with 3 outstanding receivers in Bell, the junior college graduate, Richardson, and tight end Chandler.
They line up now double to the top of the picture. The 2 wide receivers are together for the first time tonight. Richardson and Bell.
Well, it's not Richardson out there. It's someone else, I think. I didn't see 21. I didn't recognize. It looked like he was.
No, he's number 1. He's inside
Bell.
of Richardson.
Okay.
Good comes in motion, becomes the 3rd wide man on the left side, and Shula throws it as far as he can for Good. That is too long.
There.
Now, Bell and Richardson are going to come back, and they will talk with 44 seconds remaining. It looked to me like that Bell was all by himself down the middle.
Georgia was playing man for man. Brantley was covering Good out of the backfield. Here's the person who blocked the kick, number 60, Webster. Red shirt freshman. Is he happy? What a great play.
He's Walter Mitty right now.
And he certainly is. And you said that at the beginning of the ball game, who would be the Walter Mitty today? He has to be it.
Shula back, gets some pressure, steps away from it, throws the ball to the sidelines to Richardson, steps out of bounds, up at 45 for a first down, and you've got 36 seconds to play in the game.
Alabama must keep in mind a tie obviously is better than a defeat as Richardson pushes deep. Remember, the situation is such as Georgia is playing everything deep, forcing the receivers up in front of them, gives Richardson a chance to catch it and step out of bounds. And they can tie it with a field goal. That's what I was going to say.
Well, they take a tie right now.
Yes, they would take a tie.
First down, ball just short of the 45 of Alabama. Jelks, another speedster in there. Shula getting good protection, gets it away. Bell's in the middle, and he's down at the 30, and now they're within Van Tippen's range.
And the clock stopped with the first down. Alabama has a chance to get up on the ball, Keith, get their play call. Shula is giving them the play, hurry up offense, telling everybody where to go. The clock will start as soon as the chains are set. Shula
59 seconds.
With no timeouts, Keith. Here's the blitz.
Richardson breaks to the sidelines, has the ball, steps quickly out, inside the 20, out of bounds at the 17, first down Alabama. 20 seconds.
What poise Shula is showing. I think Georgia is giving a little bit too much cushion. They're giving the receiver 8 and 10 yards, and the situation is such they ought to be playing, I think, like they did early in the ball game, right up on top of them. Now, Keith, if Shula should get sacked, somehow they're going to have to line up quickly and throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. They won't have time to get the field goal kicker in the ball game. They've got to be real careful here.
I'd throw it in the end zone from here, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir. He's open.
Bell, and it's touchdown.
To escape junior college right out of Kansas. Never played a varsity game. Had the credentials to be the outstanding receiver or player in junior college last year. Came to Alabama and is a hero in the first college game.
In that drive, Mike Shula was 4 out of 5, 71 yards, and he hit 4 passes in a row to keep it.
What a finish. Here's the passing game, what we talked about before, Keith. Colleges today, it's just impossible to have a dominant defense if you can run and throw. Both teams came out throwing in the fourth quarter and moved the ball down the field to score. At ease, Keith, pretty much at ease.
Yep, seemed like it. 15 seconds remaining as Tippin hits it toward Fred Lane.
Well, if he returns
2
it back
yards.
for a touchdown.
Sideline. Out of bounds at the 25 or thereabouts. And Georgia now will have 8 seconds. And Georgia has 1 timeout remaining.
Alabama has come back and won a big ball game that will have lasting effects.
Indeed. It will last
Sweeping
the
effects.
entire season.
Look at Mike Shula. What a tremendous. We said earlier that he's got to make things happen if Alabama is going to have a great season. He made things happen, and there's the dejected. You suppose Don Shula's happy down in Miami?
I bet he's
You
not sitting
better
down
believe it. How about Mama?
Wayne Johnson fires the ball incomplete.
Pass interference on Bennett.
And a flag at the feet of the players involved. Osborne defended by Bennett, and you're right, it's against Bennett.
3 seconds to play as we look at some happy Alabama. Put into perspective, Alabama was 5 and 6 last year. The last team in statistics in the Southeastern Conference. Shula has to make the play. He won the quarterback role in the spring.
Frank,
there's no controversy.
When Georgia was involved in their celebration down here, the Georgia Bulldogs were assessed a timeout. There was no indication, at least that I saw, that they had been assessed a timeout. So, point being, Georgia has no timeouts remaining.
And you know the 15-yard penalty of the Georgia team celebrating.
Against the defense, automatic first down.
So we had a double foul by the defense there.
Well, Keith, let's go back. The 15 yards was critical for the Georgia team celebrating as if they won the ball game.
Sure.
And they would penalize 15 yards on the kickoff and gave Alabama a little bit better field position. Throwing as far
From the 40 now. Johnson cranks it up. And throws it out of bounds, and the game's over. The Crimson Tide of Alabama, looking more and more like real red elephants, defeat the Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 20-16 with a remarkable closing drive, taking it downfield and stuffing it in the end zone. A 17-yard pass play, Mike Shula to Albert Bell, as Shula went 4 for 5 for 71 yards in that possession. And they put it in the end zone, and Ray Perkins running off the field after having been felt like he was gut shot, suddenly emerges as a victor. And the play of the game would have to be would have to be, I guess, the winning touchdown, but you had two remarkable plays happen in the closing minute of the ball game. First, there was the block punt by Terry Webster, recovered by Calvin Ruff in the end zone. That gave Georgia its lead, an only lead of the ball game, as they went up 16-3. Here's your block punt play.
On the left of the screen, watch the man, Alabama play on the left, the far left, and the one inside of him. Both of them are going to block the defensive end to the outside. Both of them block out, and the third man from inside did not reach out and really stop the charge of Webster. He comes through and makes a critical block, and they're trying to pick up the ball. It bounces into the end zone, and Ruff, number 86, recovers for the touchdown, which seemed like a virtual victory for Georgia. Only 30-some-odd seconds left to play. The Georgia team celebrated, got a 15-yard penalty, and had to kick off from their own 25. There's the rough recovery. But it was not to be for the Bulldogs.
As Alabama came right back, they didn't handle that kickoff terribly well, even as short as it might have been. But here's the payoff of a remarkable drive as Mike Shula fires down the middle to newcomer Albert Bell, and Bell all alone canters into the end zone. He finished the night with 4 catches, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And your Chevrolet play of the game, worth $1,000 from Chevrolet to the University of Alabama's General Scholarship Fund.
Georgia's mistake here is trying to collision a person like Bell, who has such quickness, and not have a safety man backing up behind. If I was going to cover him all the way, I could not try to collision him and expect to cover him.
This ABC Sports Exclusive brought to you by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. By the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. By the exceptionally smooth Michelob, where you're going, it's Michelob.